Do you know the original version of this fragrance came out in 1995? I mean, there's people I want to have sex with that aren't as old as that. Word to you, Marlo. My name's Steve, this channel is FRAG30 and thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Today we are looking at a blast from the past, but with a modern twist. So today's fragrance is taking me back to when I got my first ever compliment. The fragrance we're looking at is Hugo Extreme from the house of Hugo Boss. This is a 2016 release, which is obviously a flanker to the original Hugo from Hugo Boss, which was released in 1995. As you can see, it carries this basically the same bottle design, slightly different print on the front there, but obviously detailed in the extreme. But yeah, even the bottle is a blast from the past. So this 2016 version is an EDP concentration compared to the original's EDT, but you probably already knew that because it's got extreme in the title. So anything that's got extreme or intense normally means it is a stronger version in theory, but I'll get onto that a little bit later. Now, before I tell you about why I bought this fragrance and my history with this DNA, I should probably tell you a bit about the note breakdown. The notes are basically the same as the original, but they are simplified. There are fewer notes according to FRAG30, so I guess they've kind of simplified it but amped it up a little bit. At the top you've got the apple, which was a mainstay in the original. In the mid you've got geranium, lavender and sage, and in the base you've got fir as well as cedar. So basically, in theory, you're getting that kind of same fresh, kind of piney, manly, powdery thing. So why did I buy this then? The answer is, well, it's two reasons. One, I got a good deal, as per usual. You know me, I don't buy anything unless I can get a deal on it. So I managed to get a 20% discount code on this through eBay store, but it was a store that I've actually used the online version of, so it's just their eBay shop, but eBay were doing a 20% discount. So I managed to get this for like £22, so I kind of couldn't go wrong for that. But this, I just wanted to reminisce, and it's basically, that's going to be the same for any of you guys out there thinking about buying this. It's probably because you had the original and you wanted to reminisce about it, and that is why I got this. I did smell it in an airport before I kind of bought it, and it just, all the memories kind of come flooding back. And this fragrance was, or the original, was one of the first fragrances that I actually got a compliment on. So this was also my first ever kind of designer fragrance really. So before this I was rocking the likes of David Beckham, and I was also wearing a French Connection fragrance, which I guess is designer, but it was kind of so sort of cheap and cheerful. It's like, I don't know, £5-6 or something, I don't know if that. It's French Connection number 3, which I think is now called Urban. So I was kind of rocking that, and then with my girlfriend, she presumably got fed up with that and realised I had no taste in fragrances back then, and she bought me the original version as kind of one of the sort of early gifts, and it was the first fragrance that I'd kind of been bought. And so I rocked it loads because she bought it for me, she liked it, so I kind of rocked it. And after we broke up, I still kind of kept wearing it and buying it, and it became a bit of a signature scent for kind of just any time really for me. It was kind of like office, going out, all sorts. So I like the fact that it's kind of this kind of fresh, sharp, kind of clean, manly scent. So I did wear it a lot, and I actually got my first ever compliment with the original. I remember wearing it out one night. I'd gone to a salsa club because I'm kind of into all that. And yeah, I remember chatting to a girl, and we got kind of quite sort of friendly, but just chatting, nothing had happened. And we were chatting loads, and then we sort of left the club. I think it might have been kicking out, and we was walking to the cars because we were both sober actually, I think. And we was just chatting, and she actually sort of just stopped me and said, "Oh, are you wearing Hugo?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I am." And she's like, "Oh, it's nice." And that was at the end of the night, so I must have been getting some decent performance. Needless to say, nothing happened with that girl in the end, annoyingly. I think she was some sort of like recruiter or something, and she just wanted me just to place me and just probably use me, but not in a good way. So with the original, I did miss the boat on it. It was quite old when I kind of received it as a gift, but it was kind of so renowned. I think that's why she sort of found it and liked it and kind of bought it for me. So I think that must have been around about 2004, 2003, 2004, something like that. So yeah, so the fragrance then was like 8-9 years old or something like that. But I really liked it. It was kind of like, as I touched upon earlier, it was kind of quite sort of sharp, but kind of fresh and clean and manly, and it was hella versatile. I kind of wore it all the time. So that's why I wanted to try this extreme version. I smelt it in an airport and it all kind of come flooding back, and I remember, literally I remember standing outside that club talking to that girl, kind of not getting anywhere. And yeah, it literally, I just remembered that kind of compliment, and I remember when my girlfriend bought it for me, I was in my kind of flat, and yeah, it's just all the memories. And I think if you're watching this, this is probably why you might be considering buying this. I think the reality is there's so many kind of more modern fragrances and modern DNAs. Most people that buy this have probably had the original and they just want to kind of revisit that or see what they've done with this modern twist. So, is it worth buying? The answer to that question is yeah, if you want to reminisce, because basically it's the fucking same, mate, to be honest. I mean, I'm comparing from memory. I haven't got a version of the original, so I'm not doing a side-by-side comparison, but from memory, this smells very similar to the original. I would say it's probably a bit kind of sharper and almost a bit kind of, I guess it's kind of quite piney and almost spicy to me. I guess it's the kind of that fir and kind of, and the apple with the sharpness, I don't know. But it almost comes across as a bit kind of sharper and a bit sort of spicier or a bit pinier. So I think that's where, again, the extreme side comes in. They've kind of amped it up and it is a bit stronger. And that does seem to reflect in the performance, because I get really good performance from this. I get, I mean, I was going to say to you guys that I got, you know, 6-7 hours, but even my wife, I wore this the other day at the weekend, and I kind of put it on before we left in the morning, and we obviously were in the car and coming back, and we got home, and she actually made a comment because she kind of knew I was sort of testing it out and stuff, and she said, just to let you know, that has lasted all day. So she could still smell it when we got home. So the performance on this is really good. You will get 6, 7, 8 hours from this extreme version. Projection is good too. I easily got 2 to 3 hours of projection, and I was getting constant kind of whisk throughout the day, and it helps if you apply it to your clothes. So should you buy this fragrance? Now, as I've touched upon earlier, as I've kind of described it, it's kind of like an appley, it's kind of sharp. It goes through different phases. So it's got this freshness to it from the kind of apple and the kind of sharpness. And then it kind of goes a bit sort of soft and powdery, but with the kind of fur, it gives it this sort of almost spicy pininess to it. So that's what you get. So should you buy this? And I think there's kind of two camps. So basically this is a hella versatile fragrance. You could wear this anywhere, anytime. I think it would probably work best in the kind of autumn and spring, probably those mid kind of seasons, but I think you could wear this winter and summer if you go easy on the trigger. If you go too heavy, that kind of pininess does get a bit kind of cloying, so you do go easy on the trigger. But it is a hella versatile fragrance and it performs really, really well. Compared to the original, as I say, it's very similar. I think the original is probably a bit softer and a little bit more powdery, where this is kind of a little bit sharper and a little bit more intense. But to answer my question, should you buy this? I think there's two types of people that will buy this. There's going to be people that are looking for a very versatile, clean, fresh, manly fragrance. And this will do the job. But in honesty, I think there's better fragrances out there and there's more modern and current fragrances. Because even though they've sort of made this an extreme version, it's still the same DNA and it still smells basically the same. So it does kind of have an almost dated feel to it. That's maybe a bit harsh, not dated, but just a bit of an older school vibe. Like when I put this on, my wife actually said, "You smell like my dad." I swear my dad's got that fragrance. And he probably has. I mean, to be fair, he's probably got the original. So it has got that kind of old school vibe to it. So if you're looking for that versatile, manly, fresh fragrance, there's plenty out there. I mean, it's quite an old fragrance now, but something that I sort of thought when I was wearing this, if I was looking for a more modern, clean, fresh, slightly spicy, slightly powdery fragrance, I would recommend Burberry Touch. It's, you know, it's just as cheap. You can get really good deals on it. It smells great. Even though it's quite an old fragrance now, it's still got more of a modern feel and it's really versatile and it's just a lovely comforting fragrance. So I totally recommend Burberry Touch over this, if I'm being honest. But, so that's the school of people that are looking for this that have never tried the original. But most of you, if you've tried the original, that's why you're buying this one. So yeah, in that case I would recommend it because you'll get that original DNA with much better performance. Though I don't remember the original performing that badly, but if you read FRAG30, it certainly does nowadays. But yeah, this really performs well and it just smells like the original. So basically, if you're looking for a blast from the past, but you want something that performs and kind of just a bit of reminiscence and a walk down memory lane, then yeah, get Hugo Extreme. So that's it, that's my kind of summary of Hugo Extreme. Basically, if you're looking for a clean, fresh, manly fragrance that's hella versatile, this will do the job. But personally, I'd recommend some more modern ones. Even Burberry Touch, which is still quite old now, but that I prefer over this. If you are looking for a modern kind of twist on that original DNA, you might be disappointed because they've not twisted it that much. It's the same DNA, but it's just a bit stronger and a bit amped up. So don't expect kind of a modern take on the original. It's still the original, but it's just a bit more amped up. Thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, if you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button. It kind of really helps me grow the channel. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you for my next video. And yeah, thanks again. Much love.